Welcome back to Great Day St. Louis, everybody. Since trips to the movie theater are not happening right now, obviously, a whole lot of you, and me too, are streaming some of the latest, greatest movies and TV shows from home. So what should be next on your list? Well, let's find out from none other than KMOX movie critic Mark Reardon, who joins us via FaceTime for the answer. First of all, Mark, how you holding up, buddy? You doing okay?
I'm good, Matthew. We had a couple earlier chats from our respective homes
Yeah.
during this process, and I was thinking about this earlier that I'm pretty sure that I was wearing this the last time and the time before that, which pretty much gives you an indication that in the last 3 months, I
Yeah.
really haven't changed clothes. I mean, I'm kind of going back from two shirts. I am washing one of them, but man, saving a ton of money on wardrobe, dude.
It's called the quarantine wardrobe, and I'm all too familiar with it. Whether or not I'm wearing pants right now is something that no one needs to know.
I
Mark, you and I
know.
have interesting jobs, obviously, for a number of reasons. One of those reasons is occasionally we get early glimpses at movies before they hit theaters, but then the promotions folks and the studios and the distributors say, but you can't talk about it, whether you liked it or not, until a certain date. We call it an embargo. And one of the
Right.
movies we wanted to talk with you about today was King of Staten Island, which is getting a lot of buzz. You saw it, but you can't really tell us what you thought about it yet,
Well,
right?
here's what's funny about that. So I'm a guy, Matt. I don't pay attention to rules very often. And my on Wednesday, I was actually on the air on KMOX, and my charter Wi-Fi went down, and I was out of Wi-Fi from Wednesday till Thursday morning for almost, I it was like 15, 16 hours. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because I needed to see this movie to talk with you, and unfortunately, I couldn't do that because
Hmm.
I was streaming. But then I finally snuck it in, The King of Staten Island, and it stars Pete Davidson and Marissa Tomei's in this movie. It's from Judd Apatow, but they do have one of these embargoes, so I can't. I guess I'm not allowed to tell you whether I liked it or not. So I won't. I won't tell you whether I liked it or not. And my head shaking right now is simply coincidental. So I can't. I don't want to get anyone into
Sure.
trouble. But look, what's interesting about this movie, and this is a movie that was going to play in theaters, and it was probably going to be a relatively big movie this summer for a certain audience. It's an adult comedy. It's a bit of a dark comedy, and it's based on real life things that happened with Pete Davidson, who's been somewhat of a controversial figure. But his father, Matt, you probably know this, his father died. He was a firefighter, died on 9/11, and this movie is
Yep.
auto, that's an interesting word, autobiographical. So you'll be able to stream this. I can talk about it on Monday a little bit more, and I will on KMOX. You'll be able to stream
Hmm.
this on the 12th of next week. So there is something to look forward to with at least a new release coming down here to stream at home.
Hurts my heart just a little bit to know that a lot of millennials will watch that movie and say, hey, isn't that Ariana Grande's ex-boyfriend? But that's a story for another day.
Yes, I
Anyway,
know.
I know you also wanted to talk about Jake Tapper wrote a book recently called The Outpost. That's being made into a movie, and you know the guy behind this, right?
Well, yeah, and I kind of want to fast forward to July because you do have some movies that are going to, in theory, be in the theaters. Wonder Woman, the Chris Nolan movie, and then this movie
Right.
from my friend Rod Lurie, who actually was a movie critic, and he founded the Critics' Choice Association that I belong to. He's made some great movies like The Contender over the years, and it's been a slog for Rod. I'm so happy for him because he went to West Point. He's a military guy. He really wanted to do this story that Jake Tapper wrote about, true story in Afghanistan. He has Scott Eastwood, Clint's son, Orlando Bloom in the movie, and it's going to go to theaters. I'll give you some details as we get
Wow.
closer to July. If we have theaters that are open, it's going to get a release date. So I'm excited about that. And look, we're in a very uncertain time. AMC saying this week they don't know if they can survive this, Matt. So I hope we have some theaters to go to in the near future.
Yeah, I just went down that rabbit hole right before we connected with you. And literally, the quote from AMC is, quote, substantial doubt exists, end quote,
Yeah.
whether or not it will survive this pandemic. What do you think about that? Because the reality is, there's not a lot of movies slated for theatrical release right now, partially because we don't know when the theaters rather are going to open. And when they do open, will people buy tickets? Will people spend money at the concession stands, which is where most of these theater chains make their money? What do you think?
I think people will do that. Movies will come back, but it might not be until next summer. What AMC is doing, this is just a personal opinion. Look, they will not survive. There's a lot of companies that aren't going to survive. There are industries that are certainly at risk here. So AMC, if they're going to survive, is going to need some help, is what I think the message is. But do I think, and I want to be optimistic about this because I would just be devastated if we can't see movies in theaters. I think theater is going to make a comeback, but it
Sure.
might not be until next summer.
All right, Mark. Well, as always, we appreciate the insight, and only time will tell what the future has in store for us. We appreciate connecting with you. Thanks for your time and the insight, too. And don't forget, you can listen to Mark weekday afternoons on KMOX 1120.
I'm going to go change shirts, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't believe you.